Alright, Jeffrey, this video is for you. I have your quad finished up. Here it is right here. So this is the Source One V3. So you wanted me to build you a quad that was ready to fly. So I got you a quad, built it up, got you a radio and goggles. It sucked because the place that I ordered the radio and the goggles from, they shipped it like some kind of weird USPS, like the slowest possible that they could for USPS. I mean, it took longer than a Banggood order would take, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it's probably my fault because, you know, the shipping was free, so obviously they're probably going to use whatever the cheapest way is to send it. I mean, it's heavy stuff, you know, a radio and goggles and stuff. So yeah, it took like 2 weeks for the radio and the goggles to arrive. It was just ridiculous. It sucks because it makes me look bad, makes it look like I'm taking 2 weeks to build you a quad when really it takes me a few hours, you know, 2 or 3 hours to get it done when I have everything that I need. So yeah, that sucks. But anyway, let's go through the parts. So this is the Source One V3 frame. You have the Zing 2208 1800 kV motors. You have the Foxeer Razor Mini. You got the Mamba F405 MK2 stack. You have the Rush Tank Race VTX with the Foxeer Pagoda. You have a XM Plus right there on top of the flight controller. You have a 1156S Talon battery. You have a FrSky Taranis QX7 radio. And for your goggles, you have the Eachine EV800D. These things are awesome. This was actually my first time checking these things out, and they're just so cool. So many features, and they're just so soft. I love that, whatever they put on there, that's awesome. These things are awesome, but I'll show you more about those in a minute. So, let's see. For your radio, I set up a new model. To turn it on, you hold it down until you see all the boxes, then you let go. Alright. You get a switch warning if all the switches aren't all the way up, and I have this down because this is your mode switch. So this right here is your arm and disarm. So towards you is arm, away from you is disarm. And if you haven't flown much, you want to really get used to having your finger up here on the switch. So when you're flying around, if you're about to crash, just flip that switch, you know, real quick, because you want to disarm pretty much before you even crash, so that you know, you do the least amount of damage possible. So yeah, towards you, arm, away from you, disarm. This is your mode switch. So all the way up is angle, which it self-levels itself. So you push the stick forward, it goes forward, you let go of the stick, and it goes back like this and stays straight. The middle would be horizon mode, and that is, it also has self-level. If you push forward and let go, it's going to level back out. But if you go past a certain point on the stick, like 3/4 or more, then it'll not have self-level. So it's kind of hard to explain, but you'll know better when you are flying it. And then all the way down is no self-level at all. It's called acro. No self-leveling whatsoever. So you push the stick forward, you're going to start flying forward. You let go of the stick, the quad's going to keep going forward until you pull back on the stick. Okay, and then this switch right here, let me see, you gotta see how much of this radio's on the screen. Okay, this switch right here would be your buzzer. So all the way down, your buzzer will start beeping. If you have crashed somewhere and you can't find your quad, just flip this down and you'll hear it beeping. That should do it for the radio. One thing I noticed on the QX7, because I've bought many of these before, and the throttle was used to be really, really notchy and hard to move, but they seem to have fixed that. I mean, you can do it yourself, but it's nice that it's not so stiff out of the box. To change that, though, you have to take the back off the radio, and then there's screws inside, and you just adjust them to make it, you know, looser or tighter, however you want it to be. I think it feels pretty good how it is now. So let's see, the quad, it's already bound up. The goggles, let me show you the goggles real quick. So the coolest feature about these, I think, first thing, there's a plastic sheet on here that you're going to want to peel off, but it's not on this part. I don't think, I can't, no, it's not on this part. It's not on the lens, it's on the screen. So this thing comes apart, so you can have it as like a standalone monitor, which is just awesome. And I'll show you what else in here in a second. But to take it apart, you just slide it up. So I'm using my fingers from the bottom to just push up, and it slides up until it stops, and then you can pull it away. So now you have just this part, which is pretty cool. I really like that. And then it has a hole in the bottom for a stand. So you can screw a little stand in here and have a monitor on a stand, which is really cool. Well, this stand kind of sucks, but you get the idea. Maybe I can do it like that. Whatever. Yeah, pretty awesome though. And I like that it's like tucked away too, because, you know, if you're out in the sun, you know, you're still going to be able to see the screen. And that's just so cool. Yeah, you can see the plastic right there, so you're going to want to grab this tab right here and pull it away to pull that plastic piece off. Here is the power button right here. You're going to hold it down for like 3 or 4 seconds until the screen comes on, and then you hold it down for another 3 or 4 seconds to turn it off. So let's turn it on. We're going to hold it down until it comes on. It does have DVR. There's your SD card slot right there, so you slap a micro SD in there and you can record your flights. It shows like RSSI and channel and band and all that right here. So the channel and band button is just one button. So to switch between the two, you just hold the button down for a couple seconds, and you'll see it'll be like the color red for on like the letter, and then you hold it down for a couple seconds, and then it'll switch to red on the number, and then that way you can change the channel. So it's pretty easy to use. I haven't gone to the menu or anything. There's lots of features and different settings you can change in there. Shows your battery percentage. It does come with a charger. It has a built-in battery and everything, and a charger, so you don't have to worry about none of that. The radio, I got a LiPo for it. It's a 2S, I believe. I think a 3500 or something like that. It's a pretty big, yeah, 3500. That's a big battery for a radio. This radio is gonna stay charged for a long ass time. But like I was telling you with your charger, you can just take this out and plug in the balance lead to charge it. So yeah, everything's good to go. So we'll turn the radio back on. If you see the warnings, just push exit until you get to the main screen. Alright, so let's do a hover. Well, actually first let me turn on the monitor and we'll show you the video. So there's your video. Looks really good. Alright, you can see your RSSI is working. Alright, let me turn this around. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to hit arm, give it some throttle, Nice and smooth. So when I flip the mode switch, you hear it beep. When I switch between it, it'll beep. So you know you're changing the modes. And then if I flip the buzzer switch, which is this switch right here, it goes crazy. So that should be loud enough for you to find your quad. It's pretty loud. I put this big buzzer in there that has an LED on it too, so even if it's in the dark, it'll be lighting up, flashing the LED. So yeah, everything's good to go. Another thing is your smart audio. So to do smart audio, you go throttle middle, yaw left, and then pitch forward. And you can see it brought up that menu. And then you use your radio. So I'm gonna go down like that and then go over to pick it. And then you can see it says VTX SA. So I'm gonna go down to that and then over to pick it. And then in here you can change the band, the channel, and the power. This VTX has 25 milliwatts, 200 milliwatts, and 500 milliwatts. So you can just choose between what you want it to be. When you're done, you go down to set, slide over, yes, yes, and then back, back, save, and exit, and then you're good to go. But then it won't arm again until you have the throttle all the way down. You gotta always have the throttle all the way down to be able to arm. Another thing is you always want to make sure that the radio is at least a foot or two away from the quad, or if it's too close, it won't arm because it won't be bound to the radio, to the receiver. It's good to go just like that. Alright, so everything is good to go. You should be able to just get it, plug in the battery, turn on the radio. Actually, turn on the radio first, then plug in the battery, turn on your goggles, and go fly. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm going to get this boxed up and shipped out, and I'll send you over tracking when I have it. Alright, thanks, Jeffrey.